The People's Court sure gets some crazy cases. For this list, we'll be looking at the wildest, most memorable things that have gone down in this courtroom series. Our countdown includes roommate squabble, playing with fire, donation rejection, and more. Here we have the top 10 craziest cases on the People's Court. Number 10. The fight over ashes. The ashes of their deceased kid are the source of contention between two parents in this bizarre and painful tale. The court is having a hard time keeping up with all of the unexpected turns and twists that the tale has taken, which include charges that are upsetting regarding the father's background with illegal substances. Judge Milian quickly concludes that this is not a matter that should be heard in her courtroom as tears are shed and blood is thrown. Despite this, she continues to make an effort to provide the emotionally invested plaintiffs with some genuine guidance. Her ability to get to the bottom of every situation is demonstrated by this particular instance, regardless of whether or not it was helpful. Number 9. Roommate conflict. A lawsuit is filed by the plaintiff against an ex-roommate to obtain some items that were never returned. At first glance, everything appears to be quite straightforward. However, once the court reaches the list of complaints that the defendant has, things begin to take an unexpected and unusual turn. Within a short period, the defendant began to accuse the plaintiff of mistreatment and of causing damage to goods within the residence, including a rug that was used for a business that was not particularly sanitary. She claims that she was simply too busy to go to the restroom at the time, which is the excuse that the embarrassed plaintiff is using. As a result of what they have just heard, the audience is visibly disgusted and lost in their thoughts. Even Judge Milian must take a moment to compose an elegant statement. Number 8. Arrangement with a sugar daddy that did not work out. When the young and stunning defendant indicated that she would be willing to be the plaintiff's girlfriend, the middle-aged plaintiff in this case most likely felt as though he had struck gold. In addition, he voluntarily assisted her in purchasing eyelashes, as well as a trip to Miami by herself, and other things. Judge Milian can figure out what took place in this situation fairly quickly. Even though the defendant chuckles and fails to accept responsibility throughout the entirety of the case, the court does not feel particularly sympathetic toward the plaintiff. She can convey to him what many people who were watching were thinking. Because he is the one who got himself into this predicament, he cannot expect the courts to step in when he believes that he is being exploited. In the end, the plaintiff is just as clueless as he was when the lawsuit first began. This is the most unfortunate aspect of the situation. Number 7. A brawl at the family funeral home. Everyone grieves in their unique way. While visiting a funeral home, it appears that some individuals get into a quarrel with a relative of theirs. When the plaintiff appears in court with a cast, a wrist brace, and a missing patch of hair, she describes to the judge how her niece assaulted her during an argument at a funeral parlor. The plaintiff also mentioned that she was missing a bit of hair. This conflict causes things to become even more peculiar when the defendant discloses that her grandmother, who has passed away, is now haunting her home as a result of the competition. We were beginning to believe that this case could not possibly become much more bizarre, and now ghosts are involved. Does she believe that Judge Milian is a person who investigates the paranormal? Perhaps there is the possibility of a spin-off there. Number 6. A pizza slice case costing $3. Judge Joseph Wapner, who was the first arbitrator to serve on the People's Court, is currently presiding over this case, which involves a man who is suing a pizza business for providing him with a tiny slice of pizza rather than the thick one that he had ordered. To defend herself, the proprietor of the business arrives armed with several witnesses and a beautiful slice of pizza from her culinary establishment. It is enough to say that the case is ludicrous on its own. Nevertheless, the fact that the plaintiff was given a nickel and dime for the cookie that he had purchased, in addition to maintaining a humorously serious expression throughout the proceedings, makes it an early classic. The most insane aspect of the situation is probably the fact that Judge Wapner handles everything with the utmost possible professionalism. Number 5. Gambling with the flames. In this particular case, the plaintiff awoke one night to discover that her living room was engulfed in flames. It was discovered that the young lady she had been watching over for the night had been playing with a lighter. Almost immediately, it is obvious that the defendant, who is also known as the girl's father, is trying to dodge accountability. Even though he did not inform the plaintiff about his daughter's tendency to play with fire, he is not taking much responsibility for the situation. At the moment that the defendant and his daughter grow visibly angry in front of Judge Milian, she is taken aback by their failure to maintain control of themselves and finally gives them what they deserve. Eventually, she will reach her limit of patience, and when she does, no one will be safe. Number 4. Allegations that are not supported by evidence. It is possible that Judge Milian experienced anything for the first time when she discovered that the plaintiff in this case had previously been a litigant before her husband, fellow Judge John Schlesinger. On the other hand, that is not even one of the top 5 most bizarre things that occurred during this investigation. Although the People's Court has seen its fair share of litigants who have refused to apologize, this particular defendant is deserving of a special reward. He is a website developer who was recruited to create websites that are laden with charges that are both ridiculous and defamatory against the plaintiff. During the time that the judge is explaining every reason why he is liable, he is unable to look her in the eye and is uncomfortable as she is lying to him repeatedly. Surprisingly, the defendant has not changed his behavior at all. The level of denial that is being displayed is unbelievable. Number 3. Relationships that are not suited. There is no one else who can give a litigant with a faulty mindset a verbal tune-up quite like Judge Milian. In this distressing case, the adult plaintiff states unequivocally that the defendant's sight-handicapped adolescent daughter is being mistreated. When she was in danger, he took matters into his own hands and assisted her in escaping to Daytona. It was the final straw for Judge Milian when he heard insane audio of the plaintiff making a threat to have the youngster and her crippled mother evicted from their home. Something that she just cannot tolerate is a civilian who believes that they are above the law. She finds it hard to conceive that the plaintiff would be so arrogant as to suppose that he could usurp the parental powers of the defendants and so allow a minor to escape. Number 2. The donation was not accepted. In what Judge Milian once referred to as one of the most peculiar cases she had ever heard, a couple filed a lawsuit against their sperm donor for breach of contract. Although the defendant made it a habit to visit the residence of the plaintiffs daily to deliver his deposits, he was accused of failing to fulfill his obligations when he requested a break. The judge concludes that this is her favorite case to date after some back and forth on the total amount of deposits that were made. Before making a decision that is not in their favor, she sends her best wishes to the parents who are hopeful about their future. Even though the case itself is insane, what truly sets it apart from other cases is the fact that everyone involved is rather level-headed. To tell you the truth, it merely makes the judge's job of evaluating things like the constraints of male anatomy that much more unexpected. Number 1. Missing person. A significant number of family matters have been heard by Judge Milian. However, this one managed to leave her, as well as us, almost speechless. When the plaintiff's adolescent daughter went away, which prompted a comprehensive search by the police, they experienced the worst nightmare that every parent could ever imagine. Following a period of 6 days, it became public knowledge that the girl's boyfriend and his mother had been concealing her within their residence. Following the dismissal of one of the defendants from the courtroom due to his obnoxious and unrepentant behavior, the judge grants the plaintiffs the highest possible verdict. In addition to that, she provides some profound and heartfelt guidance regarding the challenges of raising children who have issues. Additionally, she does not shy away from bringing up how revolting it was for the defendants to get involved in the manner in which they took part. Did you like it? Tell us what you think of the video in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting videos.